Welcome to episode 14 of the movie Lighthouse, shining a light through the fog of film. My name's James.
I'm Laurie.
And I'm Wyndham.
Morning, guys.
Morning.
Morning. Yeah, this is a weird one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it weird?
Well, it's before midday.
Oh,
Therefore,
right.
presumably it would be somewhat suspicious to accompany this with beer or...
Yeah, this is the first time that Laurie's not been
Super
drinking
dry.
during this podcast.
I've been bitten by it though, so it's definitely still in my
How
system.
are you feeling today then?
Oh, great. I'm great.
You've done quite a lot
Do you know
already
why I'm
today,
so
haven't you?
great?
Go on.
What episode is this? Is this our...
It's our episode 14, our Halloween special.
Yeah!
So we're going to have some sound effects.
Oh, it makes me very happy. Yeah, it's a Halloween special, man. I've got loads to talk about on this one, so you guys got to look after me because I make notes, I prepare, I miss all of my points, I talk shit.
You like Halloween then?
I love Halloween.
Yeah.
So important. Why is it so important? Because it's the only day of the year where, as a species, we decide to celebrate our fears, embrace our fears, rather than the rest of the year we're constantly doing everything we possibly can to run away from them or forget them. And that day we grab them, we hold them. And I thought about this a little bit more as well. It's kind of the day where the outcasts, the weirdos, the freaks, it's all, we celebrate them. Everyone's all accepted. And it's great.
So I've got a question for you. What movie
Yeah.
do you think was responsible for changing the way the British culture view Halloween?
Because we're historically not a Halloween
Yeah, we were
celebrating-
more bonfire night. I
Yeah.
mean, nobody used to go trick or
Yeah, that's
treating in
true.
the 70s and stuff.
We had it was a pagan festival, wasn't it? And I
Yeah.
think the origins of it was just remembering the dead or the...
But there was a film that was
living in the-
responsible for really
I
pushing
reckon-
the trick or treat.
So I think it was E.T.
What?
Bingo.
Oh, it was E.T. Because
Yeah,
you've got that
apparently.
obviously the great bit where they all go out and he's dressed up.
And he tries to fix the guy with a knife through his head.
That's right.
And he sees Yoda and he's like, home, or whatever, innit?
Yeah.
He's following Yoda.
See, it's part of the universe.
Same
We
universe.
said this last time. You shouted him down for that.
You're saying that... Oh, right. But Halloween, yeah, what a beautiful, beautiful thing. And then I've been treating myself to a bit of a boost on the heating, home heating, the occasional boost. I'm getting all cosy.
It's definitely turning, isn't it?
Yeah.
The whole kind of...
Well, I could
Great
say
time of
that,
year.
but it was so hot yesterday anyway. We're not doing a weather report.
Yeah.
All right, I don't think we've got any mail this week.
Surely not.
Yeah.
We did so well last time.
Yeah.
I can't believe people didn't pick up on all of the errors in the last episode.
What
there
errors?
lots of
What errors were there?
Well, I made up the 13 thing completely. It's nothing to do with Baker's Dozen. I'm surprised you didn't call
It was
me
the
on that as well.
Crusades.
I was thinking what a useful piece of information that was the other day. Ah, bloody hell.
Nothing to do with that.
Ooh, sorry. Just looking out the window. I actually noticed if you look out the lighthouse window, look, there's like a fog coming into shore. Look,
Looking
fog.
a bit ominous.
And it looks like there could be some ghost pirates seeking treasure and revenge in there somewhere.
Like the fog from the 1970s.
Maybe.
Maybe
We should
so.
put KAB radio on and see what they've got
That's
to
a
report.
good movie.
Yeah.
Ahoy, mateys. This is KAB Antonio Bay. Stevie Wayne here, beaming a signal across the sea. To the men of the seagrass, 15 miles out tonight, a warm hello, and keep a watch out for that fog bank heading in from the east. Now, in the meantime, relax with me while I play this song from the Coupe de Villes, dedicated just to you.
Right,
haven't seen
okay.
it.
So, news. Who's got some news to kick us off?
I've got some news.
Go on then.
Cool.
Do you remember a number of episodes ago you brought up Alison Mack of Smallville fame?
Do.
And she's gone
She
nuts.
joined a cult.
That's
and
it.
was quite high up in it. There is a podcast. My sister introduced my wife and I to it called Uncovered.
Yeah.
Escaping the Nexium, and it's NXIVM. That talks all about it.
Oh, wow.
And it is nothing. It's crazy, absolutely crazy. She came up with So it's this kind of run, but I can't remember the name of the guy who is ultimately responsible for it.
Lex Luthor.
Yes, and But she was kind of like a really senior person within the organisation. She was responsible for recruiting.
Yeah.
She also devised the brand that they forced some of a small select group of women within the larger organisation to wear and just be branded as part of this ridiculousness. I haven't
It's
listened
kind
to
of like
all of it,
human
but it's-
trafficking, isn't it?
That's all the kind of headline sensational stuff, but
Right.
it's kind of like a multi-layered thing. The Nexium is a multi-layered thing, but ultimately it appears this guy and Alison Mack and a number of other people are proper crazy. But it's really interesting and really, you sit there listening to it, kind of go, you can see why some people can get drawn into these kind of cult things, because there's an element of truth and reasonableness in the initial grab for people.
Yeah.
They pose a question that no right-minded person would say, no, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
And then they get you in, and then it's the really susceptible people they can take to another. It's really interesting. It's
That's
well worth
all
listening.
religion, though, isn't it? Really.
You come up, you start with like a truth that resonates with someone. It's like, oh yeah, absolutely, and it's like, oh, this is the right thing, and then it just
Like
grows
Jesus
and
was a
becomes-
carpenter, probably.
Yeah, it probably was a very good duck connections. I can't remember what they're called.
Duck connections?
I think it's a thing, carpentry term. But yeah, you start off with this lovely idea that inspires whatever, and then it grows and forms and perverts, and that's how cult works. Isn't
Yeah.
it, really.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll definitely tune into that. Thank you, Wyndham.
No problem.
Thanks, William. I've got super quick news. So it was actually it wasn't even a month ago, I think. It was reported that It Chapter 2 is coming out in September.
I watched it, the first chapter, again the other day.
Yeah! It's good, isn't
Very
it?
good film, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It's really good.
Although I was thinking, because it's very hard, I find it very hard to watch New It without thinking a lot about the 90s version.
The TV.
Yeah, and there's so many elements of the 90s version which didn't work, but there's a lot which I think I prefer to the modern version.
Such as? Just a couple?
Well, I think maybe the time spent with, like Beverly and her dad.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Beverly Marsh.
Well, that's the thing. The TV series, TV 2 episode, whatever it was, just had more time, didn't it?
Yeah.
Really? So obviously they're going to be able to.
Well, I don't think it did. It's
Did
because it's 3 hours in length, and when you put the two films together, it's going to be about the same.
And then the recent film is nearly 3 hours long.
No, it's not. It's 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
No,
the
but he's saying that
TV's got more time to
two-
spend.
No, it's not. It's got
No, he's
less
saying that
time.
the two films, chapter 1 and chapter 2,
Yeah.
tell the story of the original TV 2
Oh,
episodes.
yes! I forgot that point.
Yeah.
Oh. Do you know who directed the TV
No, I
It?
don't.
The exactly same director as one of the films that we're going to review in our Halloween special.
Okay, I've got some news.
Go for it.
The new series of Doctor Who started on Sunday.
Yep.
And did you guys watch it?
I did. I watched most of it. I
Yeah.
didn't see the end of it. Oh no, I did saw the very end of it.
Okay. What did you think?
I thought it was good. I haven't watched Doctor Who since Tom Baker. Really.
Serious?
Wow.
I've seen bits and pieces of it.
Right.
He left in 1981.
Oh no, maybe I have seen it since then. Who's the guy who turned up? The other Baker,
Colin Baker.
Colin Baker. was the last
84
one.
to 86.
So that was the last one I saw more of. But I thought she was great.
Yeah.
Quite
She
liked
is
it.
great. She does a really good job. I think she plays that kooky bit just right. It's wonderful, obviously, seeing a woman there playing this part, and I think she's done awesome. I like her outfit. It reminds me a little bit of something out of Rainbow. So I like that. That's cool. The sonic
died.
screwdriver was great. I thought that was good fun.
Yeah.
Sheffield Steel and all that.
I thought they were all a bit nervous.
You think?
I think they'll bed in a little bit more. And yeah, I found it. I wasn't very keen on the story, to be honest.
It's a basic story. I
It's a
think
Star Trek story. I think
Yeah.
you mentioned that, Wyndham.
Yeah.
And also the concept of him putting teeth into his face.
Yeah.
It really bothered me, and I'll tell you why in the beam in a bit. 'Cause it links.
Okay.
It's in links today. Yeah, so I just didn't think a great deal happened.
Mm-hmm.
But what I did think it did was reinvent itself, and anybody could just tune in and watch it, and you wouldn't have to think very hard.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you could just enjoy it for what it is.
But this is something about Doctor Who which actually is a disservice, but also a great attribute about it as well, because it's got such a legend.
It's not a cult show. That was the whole point about it. It's supposed to be accessible to anybody who just wants to nip in and
But that's what's
watch
been really cool about it. I mean, like, sometimes you watch Doctor Who and you're confounded and confused, but obviously all the fan people will be like, oh brilliant, and that's a great thing about it. But also it needs that balance to have that, but then also be its own kind of episode, easily accessible. But am I right in thinking this now, because Moffat's gone, is that right?
Yeah.
The right guy, that they're going to make it much more
So
kind
Chris
of
Chibnall
single
is
episode,
well, it's
single
going to make it more
stories.
accessible, and there's no new no old monsters this series and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
No
So,
old monsters.
Yes.
so kind of sort of forgetting the legend and just kind of sort of reinventing itself.
Because the problem is, once you build on the legend,
Yeah.
and Moffat did that very well, but he had bits where everybody knew who the Doctor was in the entire universe, and like he was setting up cults to destroy the Doctor and all this kind of stuff. You get that big, then where do you go from there? Where it's just somebody turning up who solves a problem, really.
For me, the biggest thing about this, why I'm so happy it's there, is because it's on a Sunday now.
Yeah.
And I was sat there, and then my two kids were either side of me. My wife was there. Even the cat was there, and we were all under a blanket, cozy on the sofa, watching Doctor Who. And I was just looking at it. This is wonderful.
But that's what it should be
This
about.
is wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, the family all together watching that TV. Because like nowadays, a kid's over there with a tablet, the other kid's over there with a tablet.
With other kinds of medication.
Yeah. And the other thing is, it's kind of, people have said, what did you think, And it's not really important what I think.
Don't be like that, James.
No, it's true.
It's the kids, man.
But the kids.
The kids.
So my
And Roman's
friend,
into it.
My
Roman's
friend Jane,
8.
her kids really liked it.
Yeah.
So that's the whole point,
Yeah.
know. So, brilliant.
Yeah, it's great to see that back.
Okay, anyone got anything else?
I do.
Yeah.
One other piece I read today, and I'm just going to refer to my notes here because otherwise I will forget. Particularly for you, James. Actually, I think you'll quite like this. Matthew Holness. Does that name ring a bell?
Bob Holness' son.
It is.
Is he?
Sorry. It looks like that guy died.
Matthew
Who was
Holness did Garth Marenghi, Dark Place.
Right, yes.
He wrote and performed in that.
He's awesome.
He kind of disappeared after
That's
Garth
right.
Marenghi. He did 6 episodes.
He
Didn't
played
get
the lead
six-
character.
Yeah, he wrote it
Yeah.
and played the lead.
Yeah.
And he kind of disappeared. He did a few little bit parts. He is a Cambridge Footlight contemporary
Oh, is he?
of David Mitchell, Robert Webb,
Yeah.
Richard Ayoade, and John Oliver.
Yeah, this all makes perfect
What
sense.
a group of people. Anyway, he is releasing his first horror movie,
Possum.
Possum, 26th of October, and it is, for me, it's the kind of horror movie that I will probably find genuinely terrifying for its entirety. You know, I've said
Brilliant.
previously that when the badness manifests, it loses me.
Yeah.
This is based on Jimmy Savile.
Oh.
Right? And
yes.
then all of our British listeners will know who that is. For our non-British listeners who might not know that, Jimmy Savile was a massive children's entertainer TV figure in the 80s, 70s and 80s, who, after his death, it came out that he was this horrendous predator, sexual abuser, and it kicked off a whole raft of 70s, 80s light entertainment figures being arrested and rounded up and stuff like that. So it's a real dark, psychological horror movie based in reality. And I read a little quote from Matthew Holness, basically saying he thinks that horror should reflect. We were talking about on the last episode The Exorcist, and does it still have the power it had when it came out? But because we're a more secular kind of society, no, it doesn't. His comment is that horror should reflect modern society, and picking that as a start point. It's based on a short story. I think it's going to be horrible.
Matthew.
Somebody was
Possum.
telling me a story about Savile the other day, and they said in the somebody won tickets or something to go on Top of the Pops, and Jimmy Savile was presenting it, and they said to this person, whatever you do, you must never ever be on your own in a room with this man. And it's like, so
Well, isn't it?
everybody knew about it.
Yeah, even Johnny Rotten was saying in an interview, and it was banned. The BBC were like, they had to take it away and lock this interview in a dark cupboard, because he was basically saying, you think we're all, horrible and all that because we're punks, but actually, I know someone who's absolutely abhorrent, a walking devil on this earth. He was talking about Jimmy Savile, but the BBC just cut it out and, like I say, hid that interview away.
Yeah.
Nuts, but there we are.
Wow. All right. I've got some more. There was a kind of little internet phenomenon, puppet show called Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared.
Right.
Which had 6 5-10 minute episodes. It's getting its own series, and it's very surreal, very odd. You've seen an episode, Laurie, I know.
I have, and I think we were slightly intoxicated at the time, and it's like a weird Lynchian puppet dream.
Yes.
It's very odd. So what's it called again?
Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared.
Okay.
But you should check out an episode. It's very odd.
Who's it on?
There's this raven puppet, and he's like, well, let's have the chicken dinner. Shall we eat the chicken? And it's just like raw chicken. And it just, with a few flies buzzing out. It's just weird.
Okay.
Anyway, I don't know it's right, but that's
if you like weirdness, check it out.
All right.
Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared.
Anyone got anything else?
Pet Cemetery, that's coming out in a minute. I think there's a trailer. Could be good.
Right.
Could be shit.
Another
Don't know.
remake. Okay, and I went to see League of Gentlemen, their final show.
Oh, you saw the show?
Yes,
Cool.
the O2.
How was it?
It's very good. So the first... Why is that?
Very good. It's very good.
Very good. So the first half, they do it in how they did it when they started off, really. Just dinner suits and the odd prop. And they do lots of scenes from over the series, 4 series, I think, the Christmas special. And then the second half was all full costume. And it continued the story after the Christmas episode. So I don't know if you saw the ones at Christmas.
Yeah.
So Tubbs ended up in a wife mine, didn't she? So that it opened the second act with Tubbs and Edward singing like a West End musical number about trying to find each other and all that kind of stuff, which is very good.
Yeah.
And Pauline came back from beyond the grave. She faked her own death. All this kind of stuff.
Okay.
So it was very nice. It was
Cool.
good.
Very good.
What I find great about those guys is just the simple tool of sellotape. What they can do with sellotapes. Like the grotesque faces and all that stuff. It's just a bit of sellotape that's pushing the nose this way, that way, and the other. So that's inspired me for when I go out on Halloween night. I'll put some sellotape on.
I thought we were going to
my
get a
face.
sound effect.
I couldn't choose what sound effect I was going to do. Maybe I'll go as a wolf.
Very good.
Sorry.
And I've been watching loads of Inside Number 9 as well recently, and I just think they're so clever, those guys, because they write it and perform it. And
Theme tune? Oh, right, okay,
it's
good.
not really much of a theme tune.
Oh.
But yeah, right. So that's news.
Yeah!
Okay, so let's move on.
Oh, I love that. I can't get enough of that.
All right, so just to remind people, because just in case people don't know what we're talking about, we all choose something that we've watched over the past month that we highly recommend, and it's going to get caught in the beam of our movie Lighthouse.
That's right. Yeah, and I've been casting this light quite far for this episode, and I found something amazing. So you need to help me out, because I really need to do this justice. But I spotted in that beam, quite late actually, probably about 3 a.m.
Too much.
Beyond the Black Rainbow. Oh
Right.
my God, Panos Cosmatos's Beyond...
Panos
Cosmatos? I don't know, do you reckon that's his real name? It's too good.
I think it's great.
It can't be real. I knew a guy called Sausage. He changed his name to Sausage.
Oh, that's stupid.
Idiot. Anyway, came out in 2010.
Yeah.
I found it really hard to, as I say, I was searching everywhere with the beam, but really quite hard to find.
Wyndham was a bit cheeky about this as well, Wyndham. You said you'd found it on Amazon and made me doubt my whole Amazon subscription. I was trying to work out why I couldn't find it.
There are times in my life when I'm just very bored.
So we've all been searching. We've been searching for the Black Rainbow. Or I found it and I watched it. And
How did you watch it?
Holy shit, with my face again. Holy shit! It's really, really, really good. I mean,
this is the same guy who has done Mandy.
Well, he's got
Nick
Mandy,
Cage,
yeah,
which
just
is
come
in the
out.
news
Right.
at the moment.
Yeah. Which actually is a film that you guys are going to go and see, right?
Yeah, we're going to go and then we might do a little recording.
Definitely, we'll review Mandy.
No, we're
for the
going to do
next
it
episode.
ourselves at the cinema.
Well,
Are you coming?
No, you're not coming, are you, Laurie? Well, why not?
I'll stay up late and I'll see if I can find it and spot it. But back to the Black Rainbow. So yeah, reviews of it have said it's probably style over substance, pretentious. It doesn't really have any meaning.
Gosh, I get that about meals.
I was going to say, is that about this film or about this podcast?
They are profoundly wrong. This film has massive meaning, and it's just it's so immersive. Basically, I'll give you the quick premise of it. It's set in 1983, which is the thing that Panos seems to be kind of obsessed with, because I think he does the same thing with Mandy. Set in 1983, because obviously that time, I suppose those are the last days before kind of that
Gremlins.
well, yeah. Obviously internet, the mobile phone, all that. When just things changed, there was kind of like the great beyond, as it were. Kids could go out at night into a real adventure because you wouldn't know where they were, whatever. So anyway, blah, blah, blah. Set in 1983, the premise is a very familiar premise. You've got a girl that's kind of held in this institute, and she's got like sort of telekinetic capabilities. And this tyrant is really sort of observing her and sort of torturing her, really. But the origins of that institute that she's kind of locked in originally started off in 1966. There was this initiative called the Arborea.
Do we need to know the whole thing, or can you just give
But
me
it was
the quick
back.
synopsis?
It basically like
What happens in it?
in the 60s. Everyone wanted like pure happiness, didn't they?
Right.
They're all after that beautiful peace,
Except for Manson, he didn't want pure happiness, did he?
Well, exactly. So
Vietnam
this,
War was pretty violent
Yeah.
as well.
they started off to try and seek pure happiness, okay, in 1966, all these professors and all that sort of stuff. But as it grew, it perverted like cultism. So now you flash to 1983, and basically this cult has turned into this really oppressive facility where you've got this beautiful little girl, and yeah, they're just basically torturing her, and her powers are oppressed by this kind of like triangle pyramid thing that they turn up, and she can't use her powers because it's just suffocating her, swallowing her, and oh, for God's sake, I knew I wouldn't be able to do this.
So you can't even talk yourself without
The
getting
soundtrack of
absolute
it,
interest.
the visuals of it, it just eats you up. It's part of the narrative. It's part of the story itself. The sound of it. It's an experience, and the best film I've seen by far in a very, 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 very long time. Beyond the Black Rainbow, it's freaking awesome.
Check it out. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Wyndham.
So I watched The Devil's Rejects. Have you seen it?
I think I have.
It's a Rob Zombie film, and it's basically about a serial killing family.
Oh yeah, I have
at
seen
the
it.
end of their run, when the police finally.
Is there a clown in it?
There is a clown.
Yeah.
yeah.
Who's Rob Zombie?
Played. No, it's not Sid Haig.
Oh, is it? Oh.
But it's just horrible. It's like a proper scary movie for me because it doesn't put the horror down to the supernatural. It's the deep, unseated horrificness of some people.
I quite like Rob Zombie. Is that his name? Yeah, I quite like his films. I mean, some of them are a bit hit and miss, but he's really got a style and a product.
Yeah.
It's a bit grubby, and it's a bit.
It is
it's a bit
grubby.
icky.
It's dirty, and it's
Yeah.
you kind of
Yes.
feel unpleasant watching it.
Yeah,
And it's just, it doesn't shy away from, it doesn't lead you to the point where you go, okay, now you cut to something else and I have to imagine it. It goes, no.
Yeah, yeah, we're going to show him exactly.
Yeah, it's really unpleasant. But for what it is, I think it's really good.
Great. All right. Well, I've got a TV series that I want to talk about, and it's called Channel Zero, and it's like an anthology series. And my God, it's amazing. So every year they're doing a different story, basically. And I think they've only made 2 seasons so far, but I can only get hold of one. So season 1 is called Candle Cove.
Right.
It's only 6 episodes, so it's the right amount of time, and it's got echoes of Twin Peaks and things like that, but it gives you all the answers. So every answer that you seek is there. And it's basically about this child psychologist who's about 40, he's got lots of echoes of it as well, who goes back to his hometown where there were a number of murders of his schoolmates and his twin brother when they were about 11. And so there's lots of flashbacks, and they were all watching this really weird TV show at the time called Candle Cove, and it's again puppets, and it's just really freaky. It's like it's like a pirate ship, and all the puppets are just weird looking, and they all look terrified all the time.
Right.
And it's like, there's Bravery Cave. You've got to go inside.
Oh no! Laughing stock. That's one whale of a storm. We better run and hide.
It'll be your hide if you turn tail, Percy. Be brave. Brave the waves. Oh, look, it's Bravery Cave. You have to go inside.
And it's amazing.
Is it serious? Is actually genuinely supposed to be unnerving?
Yeah. Oh, it's very unnerving. And
Cool.
one of the main kind of things in it, this is why it annoyed me about Doctor Who, is there's a creature which is just made out of teeth, and it's just covered. It's just teeth, basically.
Oh, so did you put that? Was that image
Yes,
we had on the
that was
Movie
on that.
Lighthouse advert?
Absolutely.
Ah,
But
I wonder
all
what it
these
was.
weird things that are going on throughout the series, they explain all of them. And it all makes sense. So it's very
Which is a beautiful thing. 'Cause
Yeah.
we definitely had a good
Really
few
enjoyed
years
it.
where people just make
You can watch the first episode on Amazon Prime for 10p.
And the name of this thing again?
It's called Channel Zero, Candle Cove.
Dun dun. Plum.
Great. All right. So let's do On the Rocks.
Love on the rocks ain't no surprise.
All right, Neil.
Right, Wyndham.
So, very quick one. We've spoken about the purpose of the movie Lighthouse is to shine a light through the fog of film.
That's correct.
With the increase in budgets for people like Netflix and Amazon, and now Apple are getting
Are
involved.
they going to stop paying us?
No, but they're making a lot of original product, and a lot of it is really shit.
Yes.
And this is a film called Canaries, and it's a Sky TV original, a Sky movie original, and is rubbish. The premise is
Hold on. Can we guess? So I'm going to guess that the premise is it's set in the 19th century, and a load of people are going down into a mine, and there's gas explosions everywhere. They need canaries to survive.
Laurie?
Looking
Looking at my iPad, showing what it's about.
I see just like a really sweet guy and maybe like some knitted jumper looking after a beautiful little canary and feeding it worm.
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with canaries. It's about a local London radio DJ, so imagine XFM DJ.
Yes.
All that kind of, hey man, crazy sound effect. All that rubbish.
Well, Laurie.
Going home, a little bit like Laurie. Going home to this little village in Wales because his London career has come to a juddering halt.
Yes.
And while they're there, bodies start falling from the sky, and they then start killing people.
What the bodies did?
The bodies kind of get reanimated. They grow these long claws.
No, don't wow. This is
Sounds
rocking it.
amazing.
And it turns out that these are aliens have come to Earth, stolen these people, and a period of time that can jump. There's a bit of time travel. They drop them to take over areas.
Right.
And the premise is that the American government have done a deal that they won't do it in America. So they do it in Wales instead.
Wow.
It's rubbish.
Right.
The performances aren't very
Rubbish.
good. The performances aren't very good. You can tell it's low budget, but that doesn't mean it has to be shit, does it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll be super quick on mine. I did bump into one that's well. Is it worthy of rockage? Yeah, it is. Snowman, the Snowman.
Yes, I know. I saw the first 20 minutes of this,
Yeah.
and I was quite excited when I saw the trailer, and
Yeah.
it just didn't. I was hoping for something like Silence of the Lambs, and it.
Well, it's
Is this
got-
a Joe Nesbo
I
adaptation?
haven't got a clue. We've got what's his face, Fassbender in it.
Yeah.
And there's some really great shots and good strong actors in it. But unfortunately, the film's just a mess. I think they must have had some sort of production issues, but it kind of sets itself up to be actually mean something, but actually transpires no. It's really basic, actually quite cheesy kind of plot and reveal at the end. There's some bizarre stuff where you've got Val Kilmer in there with a weird voiceover.
I think anytime Val turns up, ever since he did the
past
Island of Dr. Moreau.
He's past his best, isn't he?
Bless his heart, though. But yeah, and his character, there's absolutely no point to it. It's just, unfortunately, it's just a big mess of a film. So the Snowman probably don't bother.
Yeah.
Okay, and the one that I'm going to talk about is Downsizing, which I saw the other day. And it's a real shame, actually, because the first half of the film, the concept is brilliant. It's like the world is running out of resources, so you could shrink yourself to about a couple of inches, and you go and live in this place called Leisureland or something, and you can have a mansion, because the mansions are about the size of this room, and the food lasts for ages and stuff.
What about the spiders? Fred spider, particularly this time of year.
Well, they live in a big dome, basically, so it's all protected. So the first half of the film is all about whether to do it, because you can't reverse the process and all this kind of stuff.
Of course not.
And then he does it, and it's great. So you're seeing this whole world, and then it just goes on a completely different tangent about saving the environment and stuff, and it's so disappointing because the first half is brilliant.
Well,
and all I want is it's like, oh no, what's going to happen is they're going to have to go out into the big world and try and do something, and none of that. You didn't even see anything big. You're better off watching The Borrowers.
They are. Good old Borrowers. I like The Borrowers.
All right.
All right.
Okay, so let's move on
Wow,
to
you've got post-it notes and everything in your notepad.
Honestly, there's some stuff I need to
the
cover, kid.
review.
Crumbs.
All right, so before we get going, last month, you douchebags,
Yeah.
between the two of you,
What do we do?
chose Hiruko the Goblin.
Hiruko!
You came up with it
I came up with it.
ridiculously.
And then I chose it.
Obviously chose it.
Unbeknown to me that you cannot get actually.
Well, you can get it for 50 quid. So, and you can't watch it anywhere except the original Japanese version.
Subtitled in Chinese
Yes.
on YouTube.
And I was thinking the other day, because I've got a Chinese friend, and I was thinking, should I get him to come around and he can talk?
He's not that close a friend, though. No.
Not really. It works for me, so I can pay him
right.
to do it.
Okay.
But, yeah. So
Yeah,
what the hell
it was-
were you thinking, guys?
I'm really sorry.
And I hadn't. I literally only picked it because I knew Laurie would pick it.
I fucking did.
I was thinking about you. I was thinking about Laurie, and Hausu had just been knocked off our leaderboard. I thought we needed to revisit Japanese randomness.
Well, we're going to try and review it the best we can.
It's not going to take long, is it?
It's really not going to take long. I went into the YouTube thing and I
All right, well, before we talk about it, let's have a clip.
おいやべえ本当に学校に5分なんかあんのかよ少なくとも親父はそう信じ込んでたからな
私の住む土地からこれまでの定説を全く覆してしまう古墳が見つかったのだ。
こっちはヒルコ？この地方に伝わる伝説の化け物。
危険なんだよ。
Anyone know what was going on in that? Absolutely bonkers. Right, so let me give you some facts about this wonderful film.
really scoot over it. Go.
Okay, it was I can't read any quicker.
Okay.
It was released in 1991. Director Shinya Tsukamoto. I hope people don't think that was racist. I was just trying to do a good.
I thought you did very well.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's very good.
Written by Dajiro Morohoshi.
Very good.
Box office, no box office information. And the actors, well, Kenji Sawada, Masadi Kudo, and a few others. Alright, what the fuck?
I'm sorry.
So, can I give a quick premise of what it is about?
You can.
Yes, please.
So, Hiruko the Goblin
Yeah.
is effectively a demon guarding a gate to hell. That gate to hell happens to be at the site that somebody thought would be a good idea to put a school.
Hold on a minute. This reminds me of something.
What's that?
Well, I'm gonna put in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Just there.
Look at that.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Buffy was good, wasn't it?
Ah, Buffy was great.
Season 2 for me.
Wyndham, you're a massive fan of Buffy.
I was
weren't
at
you?
university, yeah, I was.
Did you fancy her?
A little bit.
You did.
Carmen Electra, was it? Carmen...
What, Buffy Summers?
No, the other one.
The kind of
and
rich
the actress
one.
who played the rich one.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Cordelia.
Cordelia, that was it.
Anyway, back to Hiruko.
Hiruko. So that's the premise, that a school has been built on the gates of hell, and after that it becomes a bit interpretive. So I'm not quite sure what triggers Hiruko, but he comes back, or it comes back, and basically there's a small group of school kids, one of whom is in love with a girl, and as with all these films, there's a random bloke with a suitcase who comes to help.
He's the archaeologist. Isn't he?
He's the guy who's got a Hiruko detecting saucepan.
Yes.
And a bike. Mm-hmm. And then there's an old janitor who has previously had a fight with Hiruko the Goblin. And Hiruko comes and basically decapitates the kids, puts their heads on spider bodies, and then every time one of them dies, their face gets burnt on the back of one of the other kids.
That's it.
It's random.
Yeah.
Wow. What is it with the Japanese and their obsession with Japanese schoolgirls?
They're a very repressed nation.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking about. Not Japanese schoolgirls.
I suppose you don't see them on their weekend outfits very often, do you? They're always in their school uniform, which is a very across the board. The whole of Japan, they all look exactly the same in the school uniform.
A bit racist, isn't it?
Well, is that right?
Well, they don't look. Are you saying they
It's not all look the same.
No, I'm saying the clothes, the fashion. For goodness.
Right.
God.
Well,
I'm
I didn't
admit,
have a clue what was going on. I got through about half of it.
I got through about 10% of it.
Oh, well, no wonder you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, but you did. You are awesome.
I watched it all.
You're awesome. Thanks, man. Shall we score it?
Have you got any more points you'd like to make with them? Right. Well, I think we should score it.
It's kind of, it's a bit naughty because I can't actually.
How can you score? You only saw 10.
Exactly.
Well, you can't score it. Me and Wyndham will score
You
it.
can only score
Well,
one for them.
Wyndham, I think you should score it. I think that's only fair.
I think this sits outside of our scoring, doesn't it? I don't know whether the performances are any good or not.
Just give it an overall. 32.
I will give it. Let me just reflect on what I've given other things.
Do you know what? I don't think we should
There's no
score
point.
it.
It's one of those things. If you speak Japanese or read Chinese, give it a go. Let us know what it's about.
Yeah, right in.
Right, actually, yeah.
That'd be perfect.
Okay.
And moving forward, I promise not to propose films that I haven't.
Look,
I
I
might
shouldn't
propose
have
films I
picked
haven't
it.
seen, but I will endeavour to be a little bit more mainstream.
Wonderful. Pleased to hear it. All right, so we're going to move on to our second choice, which was The Silence of the Lambs. So let's have a clip.
You spook easily, Starling?
Not yet, sir.
He's past the others. The last cell. I'll be watching. You'll do fine.
A killer is on the loose.
Keeps them alive for 3 days. Then he shoots them, skins them, and dumps them.
A rookie FBI agent is on his trail.
He's got real physical strength, cautious, precise, and he's never impulsive. He'll never stop.
But in order to track him down, she'll have to match wits.
I'll help you catch him, Clary.
Believe me, you don't want Hannibal Lecter inside your head.
With the darkest of all minds.
Just do your job, but never forget what he is.
Oh, he's a monster. Pure psychopath. So rare to capture one alive.
So close to the way you're going to catch him. Do you realize that? Oh, Clarice, your problem is you need to get more fun out of life.
You told me you don't spook easily.
You call this easy, sir?
Lecter's missing hand arm.
Man's a raving maniac. Who knows what he'll do?
Okay, so Silence of the Lambs. Before we do that, I've forgotten to give you some information about 1991, so I'm going to do that now.
All right.
Great.
Okay, so in the news, it was the Gulf War.
Oh, yeah.
Desert
Storm.
Yeah. Also, it was the year that crop circles came into prominence, apparently. 600 new ones appeared. One in the Prime Minister's garden.
They are. They started to visit in earnest.
Well, students started to get on it. Let's have a look. Vic Reeves' Big Night Out was on TV.
Oh, Vicky Reevesy and Bobby Mortimer.
As was Noel Edmonds' House Party.
Oh.
Which I hated.
Was that in that they had like a live, they were broadcasting live and some guy was in a box from a crane and...
No, that was his late breakfast show.
Oh, okay.
And they died.
Yeah.
Was that...
was that death?
That's really not a very good heartbeat.
No, it's not. So around the same time, you would have the Paul Daniels Halloween specials around that period, and it would always end. Paul would do a really massive, death-defying trick.
This is the worst segue ever. You've just got a list of things you want to wedge into this Halloween special.
I've just thought of it.
Go on then.
Right, but so Paul would always end off the episode, the Halloween special, magic special, with a death-defying feat. And it would always end that actually you think, oh shit,
he was dead.
Did he die? And it would just end. No music, nothing. So that also implies probably around the same time we had
No, it wasn't
Ghostwatch.
It wasn't Ghostwatch in 91, so we're not talking about
Was
it.
that 92 then?
Don't know, it wasn't 91.
Okay.
Anyway, Paul Daniels, his last trick was, he got brain tumour. And he was really ill, but where the brain tumour was lying in his brain, it made him keep forgetting he had a brain tumour.
Right.
So he was really brilliant spirits before he died. Thought nothing was wrong, then he died.
Oh, that's
there
good.
you go. So that was quite nice. And then Debbie McGee chucked out his son. So his son had a magic shop, and she chucked him out and sold it.
Oh,
I know.
Debbie.
Come on, Debbie.
Families are tricky.
Families are tricky. We don't know the full ins and outs of it.
Are tricky.
Do you think he liked it? Not a lot.
In the charts, anyone know what the biggest selling single of the year was?
Right Said Fred, I'm Too Sexy.
Nope.
Right Said Fred,
It was
Deeply
right.
Dippy.
It was the summer when this song was #1 forever.
Bryan Adams.
Yes.
What was it?
Everything I Do.
Everything I
Get
Do.
down. Yeah.
From which film?
Robin
Prince of
Hood,
Wood.
Blaze of Wood.
Yep.
Prince of Wood might have been the porn version.
And who died? Let's have a look. Robert Maxwell died.
He fell off a boat, didn't he?
Yeah.
Or did he?
Did he? I've heard he's partying with Elvis.
Lee Remick died.
Did he?
Did she? From The Omen.
Oh, okay.
Ah.
Right.
Is that right?
Gene Roddenberry died.
Okay.
In Star Trek. Freddie Mercury.
Oh.
And Miles Davis.
They are.
And some other
So that was 1991.
And the top grossing films, Dances with Wolves was #5, Three Men and a Little Lady, Silence of the Lambs, Terminator 2, and on the top was Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
This was a good year, wasn't it?
No.
91.
Well, Terminator 2.
It was a good year. I think
Dances with Wolves.
What was?
I've just read
It's
these.
all
What are
right.
you doing? I've just read those things out.
Do you like Terminator 2? Do you like that?
I love Terminator 2. Don't you like it?
What's better, Terminator or Terminator 2?
Terminator. But that
Yeah,
doesn't
you're
mean
right.
you can't like Terminator 2.
I think
Yeah.
Terminator and Terminator 2 are it's very similar to Alien and Aliens, as in they're
Very
very
much
different
so.
genre films.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, but it was great.
Yeah, it's
Terminator.
fun. I guess maybe they open it up and they have fun. Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to put in a little bit of Arnie and the Terminators.
Is that
Arnie and the Terminators.
Here's a message from the future. It's very hard to get. I can't remember anymore. Unfortunately, I can only rap to very bad rap.
That was 1991.
That was 1991. Right, so sorry. Silence of the Lambs. Okay, so it was directed by Jonathan Demme, screenplay by Ted Talley, novel by Thomas Harris. Box office 272 million worldwide.
That's pretty good.
It won 5 Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
And It's had a lot of sequels and spin-offs. Hannibal, Red Dragon, Hannibal Rising, Hannibal TV series, and Manhunter, which was
which was before this.
Yeah,
and in my opinion, actually is better.
That's Thingy Cox, isn't it?
Brian Cox plays Hannibal. Yeah, you only see him very, very briefly. I think only just a couple of times in the whole film. But it's Michael Mann film came out in '83.
No, I think it was later than that.
Was it a bit later than that?
It feels like a late '80s sort of.
86.
There you go.
86, right? Yeah, Michael Mann, Brian Cox. But that's it's really, really good.
Well, we're not talking about that today.
Yeah.
So notable actors: Jodie Foster as Clarice Starling, Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter, Scott Glenn as Jack Crawford, and Ted Levine as Buffalo Bill, James Gunn.
Yeah.
That'll do, really. Okay, so Wyn, do you want to give us a bit of a synopsis?
Yep. So there is a serial killer, the press has called Buffalo Bill, who is abducting, murdering and skinning his victims.
He likes to skin them.
Jack Crawford is head of behavioural science at the FBI, and he is trying to solve it, and in so doing, they're looking to interview all the serial killers they currently have in prison or asylums, one of which is Dr. Hannibal Lecter, Hannibal the Cannibal, and he sends Clarice Starling, a young trainee agent, to interview him with the hope that they can elicit his help in catching Buffalo Bill, which he then agrees to.
Yeah, because they use her, they pick her because they think she's got those sort of qualities that will kind of interest Hannibal and get curious and kind of his type, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, right, so anyone got any connections to the film? I mean, this is another one for me that's steeped in the public zeitgeist, you know.
Oh yeah, massively.
Just know it so much. French and Saunders did a very funny skit of it.
Yeah,
there's been loads of parodies.
Yeah, but they put light entertainers in the cells.
Right.
So when she walks past, Hannibal goes, "What did the cranky say to you?" Fan dozing. I find it very hard not to think about that every time.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you mean personal connection, or do you mean like
Yeah,
my mum was a producer?
Yeah, Eddie really.
My mum wasn't the producer.
No, I wasn't the producer.
So, first memories, when did we first see this? When?
So I would have seen this, I don't know, shortly after it came out. I didn't see it at the cinema, but I would have seen it when it went to video. And it's a brilliant film.
Yes.
I think.
It is really, it really stands up.
And just the Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter is brilliant. Just really kind of motionless. He's just control. He's got control. He's just calm. He's just his laser focus.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see him seeing into the characters he's talking to. Just the way Hopkins plays him, I was amazing. I thought.
Yeah.
There's that whole kind of idea about acting for film, isn't there?
Yeah.
And just some micro movements of the face, and there's a bit where he does a little wink.
Yes.
And it's just it's brilliant.
It's when he's looking at
that's
the
it.
questionnaire for the first
Yeah.
time. He licks his finger, opens it, and just winks at Clarice.
Yeah.
But that's actually the really interesting thing is most of the really powerful shots are all direct to camera, so they're not acting opposite the character they're talking to. And all through the film, the majority of the really good dialogue and the really good interaction is straight to camera.
A bit like Mother.
I haven't seen Mother.
Yeah.
Mother's very, very good.
Yeah. But that kind of, to me, almost kind of lifts the performances even more. It just these are brilliant, brilliant actors delivering amazing performances, even in light of the fact that actually all they're getting is the black box of the camera rather than another actor to act off.
It's like that first introduction to him, where, Clarice is just walking along the prison hallway, and then it shots to him just standing there perfectly still.
Yeah.
And it just sort of seems like Anthony Hopkins, all his time in the theatre, all his acting, and he's kind of a hammy actor, really, isn't he? But it's just perfect. This character, this Hannibal character, and his intellect, his culture, he's just his superiority, his predator, whatever, Hopkins just taps it perfectly. It can.
We've never seen anything like it before. I don't think.
Well, it's because of that character.
That's what I mean.
Thomas Harris has just given us this fucking brilliant idea, this brilliant character. But Hopkins you can argue he goes a little bit into the hammy world. Do you know what I mean? Just a little bit. You know, with a fine Chianti.
But no, I disagree. I think that's only because that's resonated from that film after people go on about it all the
You're
time.
You're absolutely right, actually. And when I watched this again, I was just so surprised how fucking good it is. Yeah. And back to Hopkins' performance. Actually, no, you are right. He absolutely nails it.
And all of those little bits that you could suggest are a bit hammy. So the bit where he's sniffing the holes in his glass fronted cell.
Yeah.
Kind of go, you wear Nivea skin cream, and it's
but not today.
That could be hammy, but I think it's actually when you watch it, you kind of look at it and you go, actually, he is this perfectly still, intimidate. He wants to use these kind of affectations to get under the skin of Clarice Starling. So that whole kind of it's just as a kind of counterpoint to his control almost.
Yeah,
it kind of flares.
What is that? So is that him tasting the wine?
I think it's the joy of the guy's liver.
Yeah, it's because for most of the time you forget that he's actually a psychopath.
Yeah,
and so
we
those little
root
things
for him, don't we?
We really do. He becomes the anti-hero. When did you first see it, Laurie?
I was at school, secondary school. My mate Keith was reading the book at the time. There was a bit of a hubbub about this film coming out. It was obviously a massive success in America. Casey used to do the American Top 40, which is a show I freaking loved and always record it and all, brilliant. And there was loads of Silence of the Lambs stuff on there. I was like, this looks great. So the minute obviously came to video, slapped it straight on and loved it. It didn't scare me though, which was kind of odd, because now I watched it now, I was like, this is really is scary. And that scariness, I think, because Tom Harris, he was influenced from real serial killers. There's lots of kind of real stuff in this, and the scary bit isn't Hannibal for me. It's Buffalo Bill. Yeah. I think is fucking awesome.
Oh, come on, Tim, a bit. Yeah, for me, it's VHS as well. It was one of those films that I think everybody was watching at the same time, wasn't it? Really. Okay, so. Let's talk a little bit about the opening shots. Hurt, pain.
Her pain?
Hurt, pain. The signs on the... so Clarice is running through...
the assault course at the FBI Training Academy.
So what do we think about Clarice living in a man's world?
She's great. I think the casting's perfect as well, because she's got, Jodie Foster has got that, I don't know.
She's got that vulnerability about her, edged with...
real strength.
Yeah,
though.
Absolutely.
Sharp, on it, clever. She's not girly. She's really, really, really good casting.
But there's lots of bits, like there's a bit where she gets in the lift and it's just full of men.
Yeah.
And they're all looking at her. And what else?
She don't take no shit.
Pitch up to the when the body is found out in the river, and it's all the kind of local police officers in their big hats. And Crawford actually says, there are certain aspects of the case we shouldn't talk about, and pointedly looks at Clarice Starling and they're going, "Oh, you dick."
Yeah.
So everyone's kind of playing with Clarice in this film.
Yeah.
Except for Barney. He seems quite a nice guy.
Yeah.
All right, so what do we think of the plot?
It's good.
It's brilliant.
It's brilliant.
A really good story.
Yeah.
And it keeps you gripped all the way through, especially that bit at the end where they, and I remember that vividly the first time I watched it. It's like, they're about to catch him, Oh,
and the doorbell rings.
See, that's the first time I think, well, there must have been some other stuff in films before similar to that, but that's been used a lot in films since, but that is such an awesome bit.
That was
isn't
brilliant.
it? The doorbell bit is just so good.
I don't know if there's a bit of a plot issue there, though, because I always thought about this. That she speaks to her friend, doesn't she, the person that was killed?
Finds out that she was obsessed about seamstressing. And
and
she went Lipton. They did a lot of work for Miss Lipton.
But he moved in after Mrs. Lipton.
So he killed.
No, he killed Miss Lipton. She's in the bath.
She's right. That's her in the bath.
That's her in the bath. Yeah.
Right.
So that whole kind of.
So how did he know her?
When Hannibal Lecter, so he knew
the girl.
The girl. So he was in and around her life. So he knew of this woman.
Well, where was Jane Gunn living before he killed Lipton?
locally.
So he was no. Before he killed Lipton, he was living in the house that the FBI raid, 400 miles away.
Right.
Oh, right.
But when he's driven, so Hannibal Lecter saying, "What do we cover? We
Yes.
cover that which we see every day." He's driven back to his hometown because he's ready to start murdering, and he takes that house at that point.
Back to the plot though. Why does it work? Why is it so cool? It's because you've got this device of, Hannibal is basically helping Starling get into the brain of Buffalo Bill and try and figure out how we can find him. And Hannibal's like a cheeky, clever, playful dungeon master, basically.
He knows the
everything
answer.
Everything he's saying is like a riddle.
Yes.
So it's not straightforward. So you're kind of getting these puzzles all the way through the film. It's like, oh right, okay, that meant. So she gets led to the
lockup.
The
Miss
lockup.
Moffat.
Yeah.
Miss Moth, and then you find the head, and then what does that mean?
love
Which is
that bit.
that.
Yeah. I forgot about
So he's
that as
playing with her, and all the puzzles have got that sort of. And as a viewer, you kind of can pat yourself on the back. You feel like you're learning something. It's quite educational. It's quite intellectual puzzles. Like
And when he
cover what we see every day, things like that.
And when he says it's, he gives the name as Lewis Friend, and it's iron sulfide, and that's fool's gold, and it's your anagrams are showing, Dr. Lecter.
Yeah.
It's something else.
And it also, throughout, again, back to talking about Clarice a bit, it's all a struggle for her. Like, she can't even get the lock-up door open on her own. It's like, you really do see how she's really trying really hard to get into the FBI, but everything's been really tough.
Yeah.
And she just wants to succeed. And then at the end, they say, we've caught, we know where he is, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And they just hangs up the phone, and it's like, so...
Well, she's very happy with that, though. She's
love
gotta go,
that.
Yeah, and at that point, she says, actually, I'll be there. It's going to take you how many hours? No, we're after a serial killer here, not a tax evader or something. And she goes, okay, brilliant. Primarily really pleased that they've found him. I've got a couple of things I need to catch up on here, but it's a brilliant plot, and the pace of it is perfect.
Yeah. I mean, and it slowly just reveals whatever. So they find the first body or whatever it is, or third body, and that they go to the autopsy scene. They put that little smudge underneath there. Quite interested to know what that smudge might be.
Vicks vapor rub.
I reckon it is. I reckon it's menthol.
Very strong.
Yeah,
I imagine.
and they find the chrysalis in the throat. Lovely bit of breath that comes out of the throat when that happens.
Yeah.
But that is representing. Well, Buffalo Bill does it. And it's obviously that transformation for him. Because he wants to be.
That's said very clearly in the film.
Yeah.
Right,
But no, but it's a lovely reveal. It's just
it's
the
really
iconography of it. It's just great. It's got meaning. It's got content. It feels good. And yeah.
Well, it's nice.
Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, talking about the pace and flow of it, that kind of, for Lecter, there is no time pressure. So you have him perfectly calm, just kind of, I can just play this out.
Yeah.
You owe me. I'm the one who knows. I'm not just going to give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Has to be a deal here. And you see Clarice's kind of, she's running out of time. She's becoming more and more difficult. No, come on, why don't you just say, no, quid pro quo, Clarice, quid
That's
pro
it.
quo.
So their relationship, he essentially becomes her mentor, her teacher, and then kind of
I think they fall in love with each other as well. There's a huge amount of mutual respect.
And in the book, that is played with much more than in the film.
And unfortunately, in the sequel, they really go to town with that. They actually,
yeah.
And we'll talk about all the sequels and all the other bits later, but let's try and keep this separate. Another bit, you just feel Clarice's pain, but at the end, when she arrives and meets Jane Gum, and she walks into the house, and behind her is a picture of the butterfly. And you think, fucking hell. And
she doesn't notice, but then she notices like there's a bottle.
Well, doesn't one land by her or something?
That's it. On the
she sees the death head on its back.
Yeah, and
that for me was that bit when she realises he runs off. She finds Catherine in the pit, and then he turns the lights out, and he's got his night vision.
Yeah.
Watching that for the first time was one of the most stressful experiences.
Yes, me too. I remember that very clearly. Yeah, really scary.
And this is what this film does as well. It balances perfectly that sort of psychological thriller, arguably maybe romance, but it is horror, isn't it? I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, actually, wait up. Should we put Silence of the Lambs in here? Because our remit's horror, cult, sci-fi. Is this really horror? And then watching it, Buffalo Bill's house, which is going down into the rooms and the corridors. Oh fuck yeah! This is fucking horror, man. Yeah. This is horror. Then turns the lights off. It's just whoa. so good. Yeah, I forgot how fucking good it was.
Yeah,
really
brilliant.
Good.
Can anyone remember back to when you first saw it and Hannibal, the whole bit where he's been moved? Is it to Boston or somewhere? And he escapes his escape, and he's obviously taken the face off the guard and stuff. Did anyone guess that at the time? Can you remember that? I didn't.
That he was the dead body.
Yeah,
no.
Because
he wasn't
watching it.
He was pretending to. Yeah. So yeah.
Watching it, knowing it, it feels so obvious.
And he looks like Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
You kind of go, I was fooled by this. What? He looks exactly
and
like
that's what I was
Anthony
thinking. I was fooled by it, but it's
at the time, 100%. Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. All right, so let's talk a little bit about. Oh, this is it. Let's talk about. Is it Catherine?
Yep.
All right. So for me, there are a few bits of music in film that are just up there. And the bit when she's in the car singing along to American Girl.
Yeah.
Oh right.
That's where I first heard the song. I love that song now, and I love that bit. Oh yeah, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then straight after that, she gets put in the van, which is horrible.
And if you think about that scene where she gets in the van, if you're offering to help somebody in that scenario, you're not in control of which end, because you're not expecting.
Yeah, because he turns it around.
He just walks, even though his end is closer to the van.
Turns it around.
He steps back and what do? You kind of go, actually.
Yeah.
We're too polite in society. Kind of go. Actually, I've seen Silence of the Lambs. And I think you're going to bash me. So you go in first. And she wouldn't have seen Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that, isn't it? Isn't it weird that stuff that stand out? But I remember that scene, and that was oh shit, and I could imagine myself in that situation, easily getting into that fucking situation, and then you'd have that moment where you're just helping him out. It's all cool, and then you'd be like in the back of the van, you'd be. Oh, wait a minute. And they're looking at you and you feel a bit awkward and then fuck, he's just smacking me in the head. Yeah. But yeah, it's weird that stood out. Music though, for me, Q Lazarus, Goodbye Horses.
Yes.
Where you've got Buffalo Bill, he does the famous tuck.
Yeah.
Have you ever done, hands up who's done that?
Of course, everybody's done it.
Yeah. He looks great. I think he looks great when he does that. But that song, Goodbye Horses, I'm crying over you. Love it, and I've been singing it since.
All week. Did you notice Jones the cat from Alien was in the film as well?
Jones the cat?
Yeah, it was watching when she got in the van.
Oh, okay.
It's just a ginger cat, though, isn't it?
No,
because Alien was made when?
It's
70s. It's a very old cat. Just saying.
Yeah, it probably isn't the same actor.
On music though, there's also it's a really nice use of no music. So when Hannibal's been transferred to the courthouse and she comes in, and Dr. Chilton has effectively hijacked the investigation and the relationship, and she comes in, she's going to go iron sulfide. Your anagrams are showing. Really desperate. There's no music. There's just this howling wind outside, but it's not howling because they're in the middle of this building. So it's just like this constant. That's it. Just in the background.
Shut the window, James.
Just enough so that you sit there kind of going, is that my house or is that on here? But it's just, there's no distraction. It's just Clarice.
Brilliant. And I think all the performers, like Dr. Chilton, are brilliant performers.
Creepy Chilton.
So annoying.
Brilliant.
And so full of himself. And you're so pleased at the end.
That's okay, because Hannibal's having dinner with an old friend.
And having an old friend.
For dinner, that's it.
But when you first meet him, and he's there going, and he's just trying to hit on Clarice, saying, "Are you staying overnight? Because Baltimore can be a fun town with the right guide." And he's got this horrible, cheesy, denture smile about him. He's awful.
Yeah,
but brilliantly played by Anthony Heald.
Anthony Heald.
Well done, Anthony. And your chin.
And I love the scale of the film as well. So it covers loads of different states. You're in
despair at some point, terror.
You're laughing. Just put the fucking lotion in the basket.
Put the lotion on the skin.
Yeah.
Put the fucking lotion on the skin.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, his performance is amazing.
He's so good. I haven't seen it. Well, whatever.
Any bad performance?
He's brilliant. No, I think because most of the performances are so brilliant, Scott Glenn is a bit ordinary.
Exactly, FBI.
Jack Crawford,
Yes.
The Crow guy. Crow guy's great.
But maybe he's maybe he's just being the kind of person who would head up behavioural science at the FBI.
There you go.
But for me, he's the most ordinary of them all. But I'm not saying he's bad.
That's because he just does ordinary stuff.
He just does ordinary stuff. He's a suit.
With his buzzard face.
He's got a lot more wrinkles now, isn't he? You seen a recent picture of him?
Does he look like a scrotum?
You could put beer mats all over his face.
Crikey.
Does it stand up today?
Yeah.
Hell yes,
100%.
surprisingly so. I never realised how much
It doesn't even
stands
look
up
like
today.
his age, does it?
No,
really.
It's brilliant.
So,
I'm sure you've all seen it out there, but it's definitely worth a read.
Any memorable lines? Obviously, I ate liver with some butter beans on a nice Chianti.
I kind of like the bit where Starling turns up, and that girl's been down there, week, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
She's desperate to get out, and
Fucking
then
bitch.
"Don't leave me here, you fucking bitch!"
Yeah.
It was the kind of thing that made me laugh.
Oh, loads of stuff. Right, so I just want to talk a little bit about the sequels, prequels, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So, I think the next one we're not going to talk about Manhunter because it's different.
That's brilliant. Go and watch it.
Right. So, Hannibal came out next, I think.
And is that the one with Andy Garcia?
No.
This is
Which is the one where he eats the brain?
Yes, it is.
That's Andy Garcia.
Yeah.
Is that Andy Garcia? I thought that was like Ray Liotta.
It is Ray Liotta.
It's one of the two.
Playing Andy Garcia. You're right, it is Ray Liotta.
Hannibal's quite fun, actually. It's worth a watch.
Well, what I
quite
didn't like,
it.
I didn't like the fact that obviously Jodie Foster didn't come back to reprise
That
the role.
definitely is a shame, but it's a different quality of film. It's not as good. It's a bit pluppy.
Also-
So it's a good idea that she didn't do that.
Also, I didn't like what happened. This happens all the time in sequels to Jodie Foster, to Clarice Starling's character, so that she wasn't doing brilliantly at the FBI, and she ends up.
Yeah,
going
they
away
let
with-
her down. That character,
yeah.
it gets
So
let down.
Let's
Yeah.
just keep it where it is.
Yeah, I like seeing Hannibal in Florence. I think that was brilliant. I loved seeing all that.
It's not based on a Thomas Harris book.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second one.
And then you've
I
got
know
Red
Red
Dragon.
Dragon.
So Red Dragon was the first one.
Red Dragon was the sequel,
Which is Hannibal.
No. Red Dragon is Red Dragon.
No, sorry, not Hannibal.
Manhunter.
Manhunter is basically Red Dragon. So do not watch Red Dragon whatsoever.
Well,
Anybody out
you
there?
can easily watch both. I've watched
That's
both.
Ray Fiennes.
Don't
isn't it?
watch
Which is
Red
a-
Dragon.
which
You
is a
can watch
shame.
both.
Oh well, you could watch both.
Yeah.
But no, it's nice to see back to Hannibal again. Nice to see him in Florence, and Gary Oldman's great. That's good fun, that character.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
I really want to recommend as well the TV series. Have you watched Hannibal?
That's Mads Mikkelsen.
I've
only seen a couple of them.
I love it. I think it's brilliant.
I think it aired on the pretentious, but then I suppose with this kind of material, you can quite easily do that. What I did find interesting about it, though, is the getting into the mind of Hannibal, and he eats people. He's a cannibal. So on face value, you think, oh, that's disgusting. But wait a minute, he is profoundly clever. The amount of attention and detail, the way he nurtures the meat, the way he will grow the meat.
Well, apparently people were
ferment
cooking
it.
these things he was cooking, obviously not with human
Yeah.
bits. But, yeah.
It's wonderful. The TV series really goes into that cuisine and the attention and the science that he puts into that cuisine and the real artistry of it.
And they
makes
use
it quite appealing.
And they use obviously loads of stuff from the books and develop lots of things.
Yeah.
But they couldn't get the rights to Silence of the Lambs.
Right.
So they were wrangling with that, and then the series got cancelled, unfortunately. And I think they were just about to introduce Clarice Starling, which would have been good.
Oh, right, okay. Mads Mikkelsen does a great job. doesn't he?
Yeah, he's just when you think nobody could have I don't think he tops the performance, but certainly gives another performance. Of
Yeah, I think he's great.
All right, well, I think we can score it. Okay.
I think it's going to be quite meaty.
All right, so performances. Wyndham.
9.
9.
10.
Wow.
Effects. 8.
7.
8.
Plot.
9.
9.
9. Rewatch factor.
7.
I want to give it an 8.
8. Direction.
9.
8.
8.
Cinematography.
8.
7.
9. Sound and music.
7.
8.
7.
Originality. 9.
9.
Oh, I'm going to go 7.
Enjoyability. 9.
8.
9.
And life-changing past or present. 6 for me.
Gets a 5 for me.
A 3 from me.
Okay, so let's add up those all-important scores.
Incidental music.
18. Oh, don't give me more stuff to do. 27. Okay, I get 84.
I've given it 78.
65.
Right, so that gives it a moving lighthouse rating of
75.6.
75.6, which puts it 4th place, just below The Exorcist and above The Dark Crystal. Thankfully.
Sorry.
Thankfully,
it's holy water.
Knocking
It's
out
gone.
Crash from the top 10, which I'm pleased about. Pressing film.
Crash is a good film.
Crashed out the top 10.
Yeah, it's crashed.
Okay, so that's it. I suppose what we've got to do next is decide what we're doing for next time.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Alright, so, Laurie.
Yeah.
You've been pecking our heads for 3 weeks. Have you
Look,
got?
that film's getting thicker.
Have you got our WhatsApp group messages with them? Because mine got deleted because I wiped my phone. Have you got the WhatsApp group messages? Could you just look through them? I think it'd be worth reading out a couple from Laurie, because Laurie, you've been obsessed with this Halloween episode.
Absolutely.
Yet you chose 1991.
Well, no. Listen, we're horror.
Do you know the rules of the bag of balls?
I do know the rules of the bag of balls.
What are the rules?
The basic
What are
rule
the
is
rules?
we will never edit. We will never lie to you.
What have you tried to do twice this month?
Here's a direct quote. If we all get to see it fairly soon and then somehow manage to pluck a relevant ball, manage to pluck a relevant ball.
Basically, right, to all you listeners out there, I'm desperate for my Halloween special. Turns out, it's Halloween. So, I really wanted to cover a particular film for this Halloween.
Which was?
It's Halloween 3.
Right.
Season of the Witch.
Which we weren't going to do, but because you both really fucked up by choosing Hiruko the Goblin.
Hiruko!
Yeah. You lucky listeners get to hear us talk about a brilliant film.
Okay, and I was gonna play we were gonna do it, me and Wyndham had kind of talked about it and decided we were gonna do it anyway.
One of us was going to propose it as in the beam and one of us was going to propose it as on the rocks.
Yeah.
You guys, you bloody
But
guys.
you were getting so desperate about it, we decided to just tell you in the end.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, because you started sending WhatsApp messages saying, I've got this idea that this is how we could get it in there, and then we didn't reply and you go, oh right, it's probably a bad idea. So there you go. So Halloween 3. So let's have a clip.
Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, the night no one comes home.
All right.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Season of the Witch.
So
that's a ghost. Get him out.
Let me give you some facts about the film. It was released in 1982. Directed by Tommy Lee Wallace, written by Tommy Lee Wallace,
who also did It, the TV version, and what else did he do? Oh, something of merit. I can't remember.
Great. And it made $14.5 million in the United States. And it's got Tom Atkins as Dr. Daniel Chalice, Dan O'Herlihy, I think I said that very wrong, as Connell Cochran, Stacey Nelkin as Ellie Grimbridge.
Oh.
That's a name for you. Right, so Laurie, go on then, give us a synopsis.
Yeah, okay, well, just quickly actually, back to the director.
Oh, you can't even do this right!
Fucking hell!
Jesus, man!
He was good friends with Carpenter, and he edited
This is not a
Halloween.
synopsis, this is not, that's talking about how the film is made.
Right, so we're leading up to Halloween. We start off 8 days away from Halloween. There's an advert, which is promoting the silver shamrock masks, Halloween masks, and it opens up. Some guy has got one of these masks in his hand.
You're telling the whole story. You're telling the whole story. That's just the opening shot of the film.
Silver Shamrock Company.
There's something strange going on with these masks.
Something strange is going on.
People are getting killed, and a doctor is pulled in to the investigation.
Trying to figure out what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
And shit goes on.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He also directed Fright Night 2. I'll shut up about the director now.
Right, so, Halloween 3, it's nothing like any of the other Halloween films. Could someone enlighten us to this?
Right, yeah, absolutely, I'll give it a go. So, we had Halloween, Michael Myers, who's basically like a mask-wearing, Jim Kirk mask-wearing, lumbering, supernatural, super
Before
powerful.
Friday the 13th, actually, so we hadn't seen any of these stalking serial killer things before.
Yeah.
Movies.
And it's a really good film and a great soundtrack. So that's Halloween. Obviously very popular, so they kind of quickly
Jim Carpenter, yeah?
Yeah.
Who wrote the music?
John Carpenter.
Sorry, John Carpenter.
Right.
So his idea was every film was going to be a Halloween-themed film, but completely different, like an anthology series of films.
But I think the first film was so popular, they kind of had to make that film. But John Carpenter says it's basically an abomination, and he's very pleased that at the end they blow the shit up out of him. He was kind of, I think, hoping that was kind of the last we see of that character. And back to kind of like the original idea that every Halloween film will just be based about that night, a story, individual, different stories about it. So this is what Halloween 3 was all about. But all the fans of the Halloween franchise went to the cinema, saw this, they're like, what? So massive criticism, no one liked it, they all hated it, whatever. But they were completely wrong.
What do you think, Wyndham? Did you like this film?
No, it was rubbish.
Ha! Wow! How come?
I just think I like the premise, and in how it fits in with Carpenter's vision of, a self-contained Halloween story.
Yeah.
My first issue.
Yes.
Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you, Ed.
Explain that.
Where's the witch?
Where's the witch?
Right. Okay.
Mind you, they had that problem with the Blair Witch. Never saw that either.
Okay, but we're talking about this.
No, I'm just saying maybe there's a thing with witches.
Yeah. So basically, it's an ancient festival of Samhain.
I've been led
tenuously
down,
linked to Stonehenge, paganism.
I've been led down an alleyway.
You have.
Because there's no witches.
There's witch
Secondly,
masks.
it's a robot movie to begin with.
It's a whole lot of movies.
It's like
these
Stepford
androids.
Wives.
It's like Stepford Wives.
Yes, yeah.
I didn't really dig Tom Atkins.
Hold on, are you in the 70s? What do you mean?
Yeah, I'm kind of trying to, empathise with
Right,
it.
let's talk about Tom Atkins a little bit. He's like a poor man's Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, great description.
He's chubby, he's got a tash, he's got pop face.
It's almost like this film should have been made in the early 70s.
His legs are surprisingly long.
Completely agree.
He's sexist, he's misogynist, he's,
he's a womanizer, he's not sexist.
Do you not
he's
think
just a bit
there's
of a
like an
womanizer.
inherent sexism in womanizers?
Well, yeah, maybe, but I think the pat on the bum of the nurse's bum is it's fine. She
it's
returns the
endearing,
pat.
isn't it? It's not
always got time for
creepy in any way.
I love him being in there. There's a lot.
He's acting his socks off in this film.
Yeah.
Not in a good way.
I thought you said he's acting sucked off in this film.
The bit where he's witnessing that horrible sort of test demonstration thing of the family, the Salvador's family, and he puts his hands up next to his face like, I love it. See, now this film, where people love things that are crap, and oh man, I love it because it's so crap and kind of cool. There is an element of my love about this on this film, but this film is not crap by any stretch of the imagination. There is so much stuff in this film. So, like you say at the beginning, you've kind of got these, you know, the robot film where you're saying the robot bit. So these kind of agents have got like black leather gloved wearing, very still, very correct, very strong, silent, you know, whatever the hell they are.
Yeah.
So you think, okay, what's happening here? But then as it unfolds, you find out you're kind of like they're robots, but then it goes into this whole conspiracy thing where he's just trying to figure out, okay, what does that mask mean? Who is Silver Shamrock? He goes to the town, and then the town's got this, you know, CC cameras.
Yeah, well, that's what made me think Stepford Wives. It was very
definitely, yeah. So they're all kind of like these robotic things, and they're keeping a secret.
I mean, I think that whole robot thing is a bit of a blind alley.
No, it's not. It's all part of it because the Cragen, what's his name? Corrigan, the maker. So their family are like Cochrane. That's it. They're like machine makers. So when he goes to like the actual the place, the factory, you see all these different machines and all that stuff. So that's obviously evolved for them to get to a state of actually being able to build these kind of humanoids.
And they do kind of refer to that. There's a drunk character who said, "Would he give me a job when he came in and took over?" No, because he's replaced all the workers with his own mechanical toys.
Yeah. So you've got that sci-fi element, you've got the horror element,
Let's
you've got
talk
the gore
about
element.
the horror and the gore.
Yeah.
Because it is quite a nasty film in lots of
God,
ways.
this film is nasty.
The first bit where the kid, I think the mask malfunctions, and the kid dies. Is it in the motel?
It's not a kid, it's a woman.
It's a woman.
Yeah.
Sorry.
She's come to visit because I think there's been some
mix up with her order.
With her orders, because she's
Sorry, I was only watching that on the colour marks.
One of the badges has fallen off her mask, so she decides to get all cosy in bed.
Yes.
And she's reading a book. I remember taking a note of the author, and I googled him, but that author wrote a lot about ancient power.
Right.
And stuff like that, so that's nice.
It would have been if you don't remember the name of the author.
Oh, Carlos Casmozo.
Don't make it up.
Yeah, I'm not. Anyway, so she starts messing around with the badge, and she sees that there's a microchip in it, and then there's this beautiful blue light that zaps her right in the mouth, and then it cuts away. I think they're having some nookie in the next room or whatever. What was that noise? Don't worry about it. Back to the boobs, and then you cut back to her, and then it's just awesome. It's
nasty, and it's like when the kid dies. It's nasty. When
the kid dying moment,
Buddy.
Yeah. Oh my God. Right, so I've seen a lot of horror films.
The demonstration for...
Yes.
For Daniel Chalice.
I've seen a lot of horror films, right? And I've seen, obviously images and, things that are supposed to terrify and move and this, that and the other. That scene, probably particularly is now because I'm a father of two and all that, but that family, that salesman's family, they're a bit grotesque, they're a bit...
They're like the Roald Dahl characters.
Yeah, they are, but they're just trying. They're trying to get on.
They're
with
living
life.
the American dream, aren't they?
Well, they're just trying,
working hard, being successful.
There is hope for us, I think. The mum says, and the kid's a bit of a brat, but that's what kids are.
He's a little bit like Augustus Gloop.
Yes.
They're not really
not in the fun, but you know what I mean. There's the parents who are overindulgent.
Yeah.
Who can do whatever
it's a bit spoiled. Yeah. But I recognise that as a parent. I'm a bit like that. I'm a bit grotesque. My kids
You're
are
quite
a bit
strict
bratish.
as well.
I'm not strict.
I'm
anyway,
cold and emotionless.
That scene is horrific. It affects me. It really, really deeply affects me. It's awful. And then you've got that blah blah on it, and it's amazing. It's amazing compared to the other Halloween films. Every other Halloween film is paled in comparison to this film. This film.
Well, I disagree. I think the first one was very good.
It's really interesting because we obviously bring different things to our watching experience. The fact that you're a father and I'm not.
Oh no! I'm just.
That is true. That is both of that.
Well, I'm just saying that scene has kind of extra. It's always.
It didn't affect me at all. The thing that stood out in that scene was how much of a coward the grown-up men in this film are. So when that kid his mask is going off and he's kind of beginning to decay and doing all that kind of stuff. As a father, what would you do? You'd rush across, you'd try and take the mask off, you'd try and help your kid. He kind of backs behind his wife and kind of pushes her forward.
Yeah.
And when Ellie Grimbridge, who is the daughter of the guy we see at the beginning who dies, who's being chased by these guys. She's trying to investigate her father's murder because, as we discussed the other week in Diagnosis Murder, doctors are the best people to do police investigations with. She goes with Daniel Chalice, and she sees the station wagon of her dad parked in a garage, and she goes, "Wait a minute, that's my dad's car." So she goes over there. Chalice just stands there going, backing away. Absolute bunch of cowards.
Yeah. he's a bit of a dick, really, as well, because at the end, which is, I think, it's got a very good ending. You know, they're trying to turn off the TV commercial.
Yeah.
And he's just there watching the kids watching the TV. It's like, take your mask off. You know.
Yeah, you probably should have said that.
But it's like, why, God, why? You know.
If only there was something I could do.
I think, going back to the beginning again, I love that setup of it being in the hospital. So the guy that's running away, he's gone nuts, and because he's gone so nuts and panic-ridden, whatever, he's taken to hospital. So that brings us into that environment. And I think it's probably one of the first times we've seen this. So this has been parodied a lot. So, I think Planet Terror, you get that sort of hospital parody. Josh Brolin plays the doctor. Yeah. Very similar sort of appearance, actually, to the guy in this. The Void, which came out a few years ago. Again, I think they set that in a hospital, but massively Dark Place, Darth Marenghi's Dark Place.
Yeah.
This film is, that's what they're spoofing.
So just hold on. Well, let's talk about a little bit about the other effects, because I mean, the computer, for a start, we're talking about 1983.
Yeah.
And the computer looked like it was from the early 70s.
Yeah. The computer's brilliant. It's flawless. It's absolutely flawless.
And there was a shot of the factory exploding at the end, which looked awful.
Yeah.
And really cheap.
You're worrying about stuff that really doesn't need to be worried about.
There was a really lovely bit when Chalice and Ellie Grimbridge are... he's broken out of his little kind of cell. He's gone off and found her. He's rescued her.
Yeah.
We have to do something. What do we do? I don't know. I'm going to creep along behind this rack of fucking masks in front of everybody where nothing else is moving. They'll never see me.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I liked the little touch. Was it in the bar? I think it was in the bar. When the advert for Halloween came on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that's very meta, kind of, in a way. I think that's what they call it. But yeah, you see it in the bar, but then you also see it right near the end where Cochrane is strapped him up to the chair, puts a mask on him, so we're basically now leading up to the big reveal.
Yeah.
And then at 9 o'clock, they're going to show the advert, Watch the Magic Pumpkin.
Yeah, and then there's going to be a giveaway.
The giveaway, that's it, the big giveaway. And that's when all the masks will basically zap all the kids in the back of the head and render their heads.
We know, we've seen the film.
Wasps,
we've all
beetles.
watched it.
But that moment when he straps him into the chair and pops the mask on, he turns the TV on, obviously, because he needs to watch the video for it to kick off. And it's Halloween, and the music's right there, ding, 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 and it's like, it's brilliant.
All right, well, I won't go that far. Does it stand up today?
100%.
I think it does. As a horror film, I mean, not for all the shit bits, but I think it's quite enjoyable.
There's no shit bits. It's crazy. It's a crazy film. It starts out with these robots. It goes into conspiracy. Then you get like freaking stone freaking henge.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Get that?
So you wouldn't believe how hard it is to get that.
Exactly.
You're absolutely right, my friend. I would not believe that.
Yeah.
It's any memorable lines. I've got one. Where'd you want to sleep? That's a dumb question.
Oh.
Yeah, I've written down that exact one. That is beautiful, beautiful writing.
There's some random writing where there was a lot of kind of truncated exposition.
Yes.
Where they're in their car going out there and she's going, what I want to know is, why did they build this factory in the middle of nowhere? And it's just like, it just felt unnecessary.
Yeah.
It was just that kind of signposting the fact that something weird's going on.
Were you bored watching it with?
A little bit.
Oh my fucking God.
And I was annoyed by it as well. The bits when, at the end, when he's escaped the town with her, and then he crashes the car because it turns out she's a
robot.
transmogrified into a robot.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, I get the fact that horror films, or the jump factor in films is, you propose something, you make somebody jump, the hero overcomes it, but he doesn't really, and it comes back. And then it comes back again.
Yeah.
And then it comes back again. It's like, oh, for fuck's
But
sake.
they're beautiful moments you need to celebrate. Like the bit where he gets out, he's strapped to the chair, but he manages to get his mask off and then he flicks it onto the camera perfectly. It's fucking awesome. That's fucking awesome. The soundtrack, really Moog heavy, synth heavy. John Carpenter did the soundtrack. It's a brilliant soundtrack. The countdown sequence.
No, it's not.
I don't think it's a brilliant soundtrack.
You're
It's
wrong.
cool.
You're
No,
wrong.
it's not. I
You're
agree
wrong.
with you, James.
And then we get under
That
and even
means
the
we're right.
even the Silver Shamrock tune is a work of genius.
Now, if the intention of that is to be really bloody annoying,
well, yeah, it does.
spot on.
Yeah, he annoys the character all the way through.
It's just.
yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
okay, let's...
No. And then I just love the bit where we're leading up to the advert's just about to be broadcast, and it shows you all the different towns in America, all the kids walking
I
around.
thought they had Haddonfield in the original, and I was really looking forward to watching it. See, they should have put Haddonfield, which is where the Halloween was set.
They should have put Haddonfield.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. But that's just wonderful, just seeing all those kids walking around.
Real sense of scale, just like Silence
Real
of the
sense of
Lambs,
scale.
all over the country.
The reason why I've picked this is because it's Halloween. I think it's a
You
great
didn't
film
pick
to
it.
watch
You didn't pick it.
at Halloween. And there's just so much in it. I think it's an absolutely brilliant film.
Right, okay.
It does have the old man from RoboCop in it.
Yeah, there's the old man.
Yeah.
He played
Dan O'Hurley.
He's good.
He's good. Right, all right.
The
Let's
face he pulls when the demonstration's going on.
Let's
the
score it.
family's being killed.
All right, performances.
5.
6.
Effects. 7.
8.
4.
Oh. Plot. 6.
6.
It's nuts. 8.
I didn't dislike the plot. I thought it was a nice
The
premise.
Festival of Samhain. Last time was 3,000 years when the hills run red with blood.
Very good. Rewatch factor. 7.
2.
9.
Direction. 4.
4.
7.
Cinematography. 4.
4.
5.
Sound and music.
2.
Ooh, 9.
3. Originality. 6.
6.
9.
Enjoyability. 7.
4.
9.
And life-changing past or present. 5.
0. 9. So this would be one that I'd be laying in bed late at night when I first would have seen it on my black and white TV.
We've done that bit.
And it...
Right, let's add up the scores. 25. Right. Okay.
I have 37.
I have 54.
Bear with me. 3 off of 30 is 27, so that would be 79.
Why?
So, what does that give us, Wyndham?
Yeah, that's not right.
That's not right.
37 plus 54? No, 54. Plus
37
79.
plus 79 plus 54.
56.6.
What? Fine.
I don't think that's going to trouble the leaderboard.
No, that's fine. I don't need it necessarily in the leaderboard, but it's just
Okay, well,
film.
it puts it just under Cujo, but above Scanners, which I think is perfectly placed. Really.
Yeah, sounds fair.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Great. All right, then. So, we've got to choose for next. Who's choosing this time?
I believe we figured out it was...
I think it's me.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is you. Right.
Come on. Come on, Japanese random. Topic.
We've had quite a few. Have we had a lot of years recently, or am I just imagining that?
Yeah, you're just imagining things. However, I do feel... Oh, nice ball play.
You just couldn't wait, could you?
Oh, yeah, I won't reach, sorry.
Okay, nestle. Nestle it in
Look
hand.
at me.
Exciting.
Okay, I have a ball.
Yeah.
What's that?
It is number 61.
Number 61.
61.
Which is Universal Horror.
What the hell does that mean?
So, films from Universal which have a horror element. So obviously you've got all the black and white movies of the 30s and 40s to choose from.
Okay.
But there may be some later horror motion pictures by Universal.
This is Universal Studios?
Yes.
Okay.
Anything within their catalogue.
Yes.
This will require Google.
Would
or another search engine.
Anybody like to Google?
I'll use my own.
I can look over your shoulder.
Right, so we'll get back to you in the miracle of magic in a second.
And now, a message from our sponsors.
Yeah, it might be unpopular to say it out loud, but we all know kids are a constant drain on every element of your lives. Whether it's cold and they claim they need clothes, or the ground's hard and they want shoes, or they need unconditional love so as to grow up well balanced and able to contribute to modern society, there's not a moment of a day that you're not worried sick about something horrible happening to them, whether deserved or not. Not only that, but they also require regular feeding. It's not like you don't have enough on your plate, you've now got to worry about what to put on theirs too. Well, fear not. Help is at hand. Simply call out, "Help me, Cheddar Goblin!" and watch amazed as a dirty-looking green goblin spews litres and litres of partially goblin-digested macaroni and cheese all over your darling future caregivers. That's right, with a simple call of "Help me, Cheddar Goblin!" you can summon a mythical creature that should definitely be on a register somewhere to provide all the nutrition your growing future disappointments need. After all, nothing is as nutritious as beige. Cheddar Goblin, the food that doesn't need to contain any green because he is green. This advert has been brought to you by the mind of Panos Cosmatis and Mandy in conjunction with the Mythical Creature Cheese Board, working tirelessly to bring you partially digested cheese products.
Right, men or choices?
Yeah.
Okay, Laurie, you can go first.
Okay, my first one is a surprisingly great film. When I saw it, amazing soundtrack. It's really, really good. The Incredible Shrinking Man.
Is it a horror film?
Oh. There is, for him, from his perspective, when that spider
You don't really
turns up...
care about these characters.
When that spider
rules,
turns
do you?
up, he's horrified.
Okay, alright, I'm going to go for a kind of obvious one. Psycho.
Yeah.
Good call, big film.
Okay.
My second one is 1982, John Carpenter's The Thing.
Is that Universal?
Yeah, it is!
Well, as it's Universal horror, I do think that we should have something from the heyday of the monster movies from Universal. Because they...
like The Incredible Shrinking Man?
No, because it's not a horror film. So,
it's a really good
I'm
film,
torn
isn't it?
between Bride of Frankenstein, and The Creature from the Black Lagoon.
They're all alright.
I think because how important it was, I'm going to choose Frankenstein. So Wyndham, we can just make sure we can watch all of these this time, yeah?
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, these are in English, right?
As far as we can tell, I think that's what Universal tends to do.
Okay.
So Universal horror, that's the key.
Oh, wait, whoa,
I just think that's the key. To remember that it's
Do
a
not
horror
just discount
film.
the Incredible Shrink.
Don't influence Wyndham.
Okay, so there's a little bit of redemption on my part coming because of the Hiruko from the last one. And I'm going to go for one from each of you.
Oh.
Spread the love. But I'm going to go the more recent Psycho and The Thing.
Okay.
Okay, alright.
The New.
Brilliant. Well, two amazing films there.
Yeah, undeniable.
Brilliant. Alright, so I think we talked long enough. So
Definitely.
We'll see you all next time.
See you later, all.
Good job. Enjoy
Happy Halloween.
Lighthouse